Hi, I'm Donalyn, and I am one of the co-hosts for this wonderful podcast, After the Fourth, Making Villages Popular. I am a wife, a mother of 3 beautiful children. I have a son that's 6, a daughter that's 4, and another baby boy that's 2. I am a speech pathologist, and I am also a dreamer at heart.
I love that. You better be a dreamer.
Yes.
I am Katie Johnson Addenrille. I am a mom, a wife, a daughter, a friend. Professionally, I'm an educator. I've been in education for 14 years now, which is crazy to say. I have 2 beautiful kids. Adebayo, who is 3.5, and Adebisi, who is just turned 1. It is marching around my house like she owns the place.
I love it.
And I'm married to an amazing husband, Ade. And I'm so excited to be a part of this podcast with you after the 4th.
Me too. All right, so let's tell the people how we met and how we got here.
Okay. So, my son, Bayo, was getting some speech support through the county's program. And my husband, I don't know if I told you this in the beginning, Ade is the one who actually called infants and toddlers, did all the things to get us signed up.
You did not tell me, but I knew that because on the paperwork, it's none of your information, it's all his.
Yes, so he's the one who signed us up. I was the one who's we have to do something, and he's going to be the one to get her done. So he got us all signed up, and then you came into our life.
I did.
Yeah.
So the only thing on the paperwork was your name. And so
Katie.
Katie.
Hi, my name's Katie.
Hi, my name's Katie. And so my initial thought, and this is so bad, when I looked at the paperwork was, okay, probably white woman married to an African man. That's what I was expecting when I pulled up to your house.
You're not the only one.
It wasn't going to change how I provided services, but that was my initial thought. And so I rang the doorbell, and you came bopping down the steps, pregnant. I think you were half dressed, and you're like, "Come on in." I was like,
Listen,
"Okay,
I had a
this
toddler.
is going to be fun."
I had a toddler, and I was even 5 or 6 months pregnant. Big girl. And you caught me in the middle of breakfast, I think.
Yes, I
did. You get what you get. So you said you were expecting a white girl married to an African man. You got me.
Yes.
Married to a Trinidadian man.
Which also
is
threw
another
me up.
story.
Yes, that's another story.
Okay.
So I was Bayo's first speech pathologist, and that was the beginning of our relationship.
Yeah.
That's how it kicked us off.
Yeah.
Fast forward, we had lots of fun and hard conversations.
It's true.
And then the tables turned, and I ran into you one day as my son was also receiving speech therapy. You were coming out of the building.
Yeah.
From an appointment with Bayo, and I looked crazy.
We all have our days. We all have days where we are ready for the world, and sometimes the world gets the best of us.
Listen, the stress was stressing.
So yeah, we were at Kennedy Krieger. I think we had just finished our appointment, getting talking to the Bayo's neurologist about some test results, and we come out and we see you, and I'm like, "That's Donalyn," and you were walking in.
Yes.
And I don't know if you had just had a difficult conversation.
It had been a difficult week, and yes, I just had a difficult conversation.
Yeah, and it looked like you had a difficult conversation. You look a little tired, but I was like, "Hey, are you good?" And I knew the answer was not yes.
Right.
So I just was like, "Hey, let's talk. Let's talk." And at this point, we had literally just been about business.
Right.
I mean, I'm hospitable in all things,
Right.
But I think talking outside of Bayo was not part of our relationship yet. So I was like, just call me. That was a Wednesday.
Yes.
You called me on a Thursday.
Friday. Because you were
Katie, a Friday.
It was a Friday.
Because I work from home on Fridays now. Come on now. Anywho, but you called me on a Friday, and I was just like, let's talk. And we started talking about all the things motherhood.
Yes. And in the midst of that conversation, I said, Katie, there needs to be a book about everything that happens after the fourth trimester that people don't talk about. People don't talk about when your kids don't fit into these books that the pediatrician and everyone else tells you to read. People don't tell you how to navigate schools that may be best for your child and all the things.
People don't talk about how when you become a mom, you have to cook food for them 3 times a day and they need 4 or 5 snacks and you're always cooking and you're always cleaning. I mean, I love my kids.
Wait, and can you pause for a second? You cook all those meals and they don't eat that.
Listen, I'm gonna start taking pictures of like what I prepared, what they ate, because it is not working out. The math is not mathing for what I made and what they ate.
It's not.
They don't talk about how when you have kids, they tear your car up and they don't care because they're not gonna clean it up. You know how many footsteps I have on the back of my passenger seat because of bio?
No, they don't tell you that.
Right.
They also don't tell you how they tear up your house. And they think they run your house and they don't pay a single bill.
They cost money, a lot of money. They don't talk about all the appointments that you get to go to. A whole nother conversation. I was gonna talk about like get versus have to.
Yes.
I use that language a lot. We'll talk about that too. But like, they don't tell you about all the people you have to call, all the doctor's appointments, taking off from work. They don't talk about like what dating your partner looks like when you are married with kids or just with kids. Like, how do you stay close to your partner?
Right. You know what else they don't talk about? They say it takes a village to raise a child, but they don't tell you how to build your village.
Right.
Because sometimes you don't have your village already established. Sometimes your village needs a shift.
Yeah.
And no one tells you how to make that happen. And you really have to find those resources yourself.
And that's why I'm just like super grateful for our relationship because as soon as we hit that, like this is no longer a simply professional relationship, we started building.
Yes.
Like checking in on one another. Are your kid like what's creating play dates,
right?
Just doing things to alleviate some of our stress, letting our kids create community. Because I'm from Indiana,
right?
And so all of my family is back home, and I was raised. I have 4 older brothers. I have a whole bunch of cousins, a whole bunch of aunties and uncles, and so we grew up at my grandma's house. Like Sunday, she cooked. We foot to head on the floor, hanging out, kicking it. Everybody's in the backyard. Like every holiday, we were together.
Right.
I am now hundreds of miles from my family. Right. And so now I get to have part of that experience.
Right.
When I'm not going home. Here in Maryland, I get to say, what are y'all doing today?
Right.
Y'all want to come over? Y'all want to kick it? Our kids get to grow up together and hang out.
Sure do.
We get to ask each other questions. If I'm stressed, I get to call and say, girl, these kids are.
And I can be like, do you want me to come get them?
Please.
Do you need a break?
Please,
Or we can just vent.
And that's all important. So I think I'm super excited about this podcast because like parenting is challenging. It's one of the most beautiful things I've ever experienced.
Absolutely.
And it's probably one of the hardest things I've ever experienced. Yes. And life has not been the easiest outside of parenting. But it's great to have someone to do parenting with. Because although we're both married to amazing guys, parenting can still feel isolating. With friends, with families, it can sometimes feel like you're doing it by yourself, although you're not. And so when you have a village, it reminds you you are not alone in this journey.
That's right.
And that we can continue to learn and grow. And that we don't have to be perfect because none of us are.
Right.
Are you familiar with like the after the fourth, like literature, the whole essence behind it? Tell me what you know about it.
So what I know is that after the fourth is like after you give birth and that postpartum period. And that's the part where you still have a lot of people, but I even feel postpartum can also be very isolating and triggering and hard, not only for moms, but for dads too.
Yeah.
And so that is the fourth, as they call it, the fourth trimester. But it's after that trimester where I think I started to be like, oh,
where's everybody at?
Where are my people? What happened? Like, this kid is 1 And I did have like a really cool mom group that I met probably when Jude was around 3 months, 2 or 3 months. We all did Gymboree, playing music together.
I didn't do no mom groups, girl. I was over here just in the house.
But it was still hard because I didn't, relationships take time to build. Villages take time to build. So in that process, it was still very isolating. I don't think I've ever told you this either, but the day we brought Jude home from the hospital, Lana Ray left and had to travel for work. And so my mom was
The same
there,
day.
The same day.
Jeez.
And so my mom was there with me until I was able to drive again. And then that next day after, the doctor cleared me, she was like, I've been here for over a month and a half.
Mama got a life too.
I'm going home. And I was like, ah. And Jude and I spent that first day alone crying together. And I was like, where are my people? I need people. Like, I so wish I would have known then the importance of having a village.
Yeah.
When you have a baby.
Because who's coming over to like give you a little nap or to talk to when you are dog tired.
Right.
Because they don't sleep.
Right. Well, and the other part of that is I had friends, I had people offering, hey, Donalyn, if you need anything, call me. But it's different when you're in the thick of it.
And especially with your first kid, you like I almost turned my mom down for help. Right. So I was like, I want to be able to say, I can do this. Yes. I don't necessarily want to need someone to help me take care of my child.
Right.
But the truth is, parenting was never meant to be done in isolation. Never.
Never.
In any society, in any culture, like no one's doing this by themselves.
No one.
And so I don't know why here we think that we have to like put on our big boy pants and
do it alone.
Because we don't.
We don't.
And we shouldn't. And so I'm once again just like super excited to talk about like what supports like we as friends, like now friends, get to offer each other and how to help other beautiful women and parents create community because it is absolutely necessary.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So I hope from this we build a wonderful village, not only between us, but people who are listening near and far. I hope they tap in to their people. And if they don't have people, I hope we can connect them with people.
That's the thing. Because, listen, can we talk about like a little, the first time we all got together?
Yes.
Very quickly.
Let's do it.
So obviously we were planning to connect about creating a podcast and like taking our dream to like something real.
Right.
And so we went to our little local pub. I never thought I'd be someone to go to a pub, first of all. Like, who's just going to pubs nowadays? But
Oh, because we also talk about how we were only supposed to meet for an hour or two, and we were there for like 5 hours.
She's picking up kids from the bus stop. I'm telling the waiter to bring out 2 mimosas at a time. It was a time.
It was.
It was a time. But as we were planning and like connecting that day, and you had already went to pick up baby boy from the bus stop. Was that the same day? No, that was the same day.
No, I did. I picked him up from the bus stop both days. Clearly, we spent many days at the pub.
Anyway, so we're planning, we're taking notes, we're connecting.
Yes.
And in my mind, I was thinking, it's Friday. I am not really ready for this time and this space to end. So I'm like, hey, what are y'all doing?
Oh, but wait, we forgot something really important.
What?
That's the first day you met our producer, Paul.
Paul,
say hi.
What's up, y'all? How you doing? Glad to be here. Y'all are awesome.
We are glad to have you.
Yes.
Yeah.
And glad to be a part of this space with you.
Yeah. That was a fun day.
You know,
it was.
That was Paul's intro to me as well. Paul was like, this lady is probably crazy. But now you know that I'm actually crazy, and so we are here together. But yeah, I was like, what are y'all doing? Y'all want to get the kids together and come over? And like a simple invite turned into like a beautiful relationship. So somebody brought pizza, somebody brought snacks for the kids. All the kids had every single toy they could imagine out and was running through the house. And we were just continuing to build and connect. And I think that is what makes relationship and community beautiful, when it's authentic and it's genuine.
Right.
And we are fortunate enough to have that. And I think one of my prayers for people is that everyone gets to feel some of this.
Right.
Everyone gets to feel like they got a friend or, a homegirl, homeboy they can call to like check in. Like, how you doing? The kids driving you crazy? You loving them? What's going on? What you cooking? I don't know. Like, bouncing ideas off of, because once again, we are not doing this in isolation. So,
but wait, can I even add to that? Like, while we felt like it built village for us and our kids playing together, like, it also built village for our husbands, like because our husbands are now connected and really enjoyed that time and that bond together. And I think that's really cool.
But the other thing, adding to that, the last time y'all were over, I'm on the couch, we're watching TVs, all kind of kids, and I find myself sitting on the couch like patting somebody's leg. At first I thought it was Bayo, because the kid came and sat on my lap, like by me, moved my hand to like hold them, and I look over and it's Jude, your son. So we are also creating more trusting adults in our children's lives.
Yes.
So if there's something that for some random reason, I don't want to talk to mommy about that later in life, I'm going to tell you anyways. But if Jude ever comes to me and says, Miss Katie, Auntie Katie, I want to talk to you about X, Y, and Z.
Right.
I'm going to run it and tell you, but he has a safe space and a safe person to connect to. And in this crazy world, we have to continue to create trusting relationships with our kids, because there are folks who don't want the best for them.
Right.
And we have that. So
I can even add to that story.
We're going to keep it.
So a couple of months ago, Paul and Adrian were at the beach.
Yeah.
And Adrian sent me a text message and said, I'm reading this book on consent and boundaries with B. And in different sections, because it's written like a comic book, they pause and they talk about different things. And so they were talking about safe people and safe spaces. And B says Genevieve.
That's her girl.
Who's my daughter. And Adrian says yes, and Donalyn. And B says, and don't forget Lana Ray. And I was like, oh, yes. I love that B feels like Lana Ray is also a safe person and a safe space for her. And that she was actually able to recall his name, because, a lot of times we're in these spaces and, this is Aunt Katie, this is Mr. Paul, and, they're kids. And so, like, names and things escape them. But for B to be able to be like, and don't forget Lon Ray.
She said, make it a point to remember him. That's beautiful.
I love that. Oh. But that's like what building villages is all about.
I love that. I love that for her, y'all. Because Lon Ray is pretty good, too, because the first time he came over, he was on the floor just laid out with the kids. I'm like, this is great. They get to see strong men just like relax, too.
Right.
We can talk about the pressure of being a man and being a father, too. I don't know that pressure as a man. Paul does, I'm sure. Right. But, like, to be in a space where, like, they also feel safe enough to relax and to chill and to just, like, I'm just around people I care about now. And, like, it's so fulfilling.
It is.
And I think about village the same way I think about, like, love. Like, I want everybody to feel it. I want everyone to get to feel like unconditional love. I want everyone to get to feel like joy, trust, peace. Like even women relationships, right? So like I'm trusting that if you're around my family, I trust you in every capacity.
That's right.
I trust you with my child. I trust you in the same room as my husband. Because hey, people are crazy nowadays. And I don't want to smack nobody. I don't feel that. I don't feel that with anybody I was in the space with.
Right.
Like just to have that much peace and trust, and to know like if I go to run to the store, my kids are safe. My husband's chilling. Like my home is safe in the care of these people. And everyone doesn't have that.
Right.
And so what I hope we get from this is that like people here in this area, people all around the country, people all around the world get a chance to
all around the world,
maybe international,
speak it.
Everywhere can feel the joy that we have, and it's like transferable. They are out looking for villages. They are out accepting invitations that they may not have accepted before, giving invitations that they may not have given before.
Right.
Because it takes that. It takes a little bit of vulnerability to be like, hey, guys, you want to go to my house?
Right.
I'm 30-something. I'm like, you want to come over?
Please say yes. Please say yes.
I mean, I would have went to sleep if y'all didn't come over, but it's great that, like, we were able to connect and do that. So all the things to come.
I'm so excited for everyone that listens, whether they listen to one episode or all the episodes, that they take something away. Like one of the things you always say is every time we get together, you learn something. Every time I get together or we get together, I learn something and take away something from you. So I hope that as people are building villages, that they're also using some takeaways to keep the village strong.
Yeah. And we're going to do that. Like, we're going to share
Yes.
what are some things that we're doing to minimize stress in our lives and our homes, to like create structure in our lives, to build relationships with our families.
Right.
We're going to share tips. We're going to have guest speakers at times to just like
Yay.
talk about, like, because we're not experts in everything.
That's right.
You are an expert in your work. I'm an expert in my work. We're expert in our children because
Yes.
we have been with them their entire lives.
That's right.
But there are things that, we get to learn as well. And so I'm excited. We have friends and colleagues and
Right.
just community people who are experts in the work that they do.
Right.
So getting expertise from those people can be great. I'm really just excited to learn.
And I was going to say, and as we build this, getting feedback from our village, because one of the things that you mentioned earlier was the decision about dinner. I know someone in the village listening will be able to tell us how to make dinner easier every
Quick.
single night. Yes.
Or like, look, we could all be making the same thing.
Right.
On Tuesday, we make tacos.
Right,
On Monday,
everybody.
everybody's meatless. Whatever the case is, like, we
Right.
can all grow from each other.
Yes.
And because the truth is that we're all parents are parenting,
Right.
right? Your kids are, if you are a mother or a father to a child, you are taking care of somebody, you have them in your house, in your space. We're doing this every day.
Not even mothers and fathers. We have
That
foster parents, grandparents,
Aunties and uncles.
guardians, aunties, uncles, cousins, people who have just stepped up to say, you know what, I'm going to take you under my wing. I think all of those people can benefit from this, because playing any sort of role in a child's life, as you and I both know, firsthand experience, professionally and personally from being parents, it is not for the weak.
And I consider myself a pretty strong person, baby.
I have a question for y'all.
Yes.
So what were y'all villages when you were kids? Like, what did they look like?
Oh, I love that question. So actually, my parents built a super strong village for us.
Love it.
My dad owned multiple businesses.
Okay.
And he was very big on like hiring people in the family, but also making sure like we could outsource in the community where we needed to. So he owned Gorham's Beauty Salon, and it was the first 24-hour salon in Greenville, North Carolina.
24 hours?
24 hours.
Wow.
Yes. And so he also owned Gorham's Auto Sales. And so the hair salon, my cousins and uncles all started in. Some of them like stayed. Some of them opened their own shops. Some of them became barbers. And then with the cars, he like outsourced to people to like fix them, because he would get them from the auction. And then like detailing businesses. And then my mom was an educator, and she retired as a principal after like 30 plus years, like over 35
Shout out to
years.
Mama. Shout out to Mama.
And so of course she hired teachers and all the things, and so those people became a part of our village because we were young and my parents were super busy. So as they built connections, people would step in and babysit for us and drive us places and help cook and help clean. And we were big into church. And so the church was a huge, huge village for us growing up. The really cool thing about my village, as I reflect as an adult, are the people that my parents put in my life. I can say as early as 2 that I remember are still in my life. So one person in particular comes to mind, and we call her Miss Faye. Our kids now call her Faye Faye. And I met Faye when I was 2 at daycare. And my parents hired her outside of daycare to help take care of us and do all the things. And we still talk to Faye almost weekly.
Now?
Now.
Wow.
she's family.
Yeah.
And when I had kids, I was like, "They come live with me. Come help me with my babies." But she babysits when we go to North Carolina.
Wow.
She plays a huge role in like the life of my niece and nephew. Some of the kids we grew up with in the neighborhood. Love her. She's become a major part of their village. We have Connie, who we still talk to, who my mom hired as a teacher when she started teaching, and now she's still in education. She's like a consultant. So when I say my parents were big on like building a solid village, they were steadfast, and all those people still show up for my sisters and I and our children to this day. And I can only hope that like we build like a solid village the same way. And just like you mentioned, like, oh, you know, Jude can call and talk to me about anything. I can call those people and talk to them about anything, and I know they're a safe space.
I love that for you. I love that for them. That's dope. Shout out to your mom and dad.
Yes.
Shout out to them
Thank
for
you.
like having that vision that early on, because you at two, you're able to recall the impact of those people that they place in your life. That's beautiful.
Yes.
I'm trying to think. So we were just like a super close knit family. So I'm one of five. Excuse me. I'm one of five. My mother's one of five, and my grandmother's one of 8.
Woo.
So all of our stuff was just like family.
Right.
Like, every function was just like family all the time. And my grandmother was, shout out to Miss Louise, Beverly Louise.
Oh my gosh, your grandmother's name was Mary Louise?
Beverly.
Beverly. I was going to say, my grandmother's name was Mary Louise, but
What?
okay.
Wow.
Yes, okay.
Beverly Louise, yes. But we, my grandmother became like the matriarch of like the family. And so
Yes.
every holiday we're at my granny's house. Every event, she was there cooking. Like, she was that person that brought everyone together. And so our village literally just consisted of like our aunts, uncles, cousins.
Right.
And we had a couple of folks, but I think that happened a little later on in life. So I think about the village that I had, like in high school, my coach, who I still talk to today, shout out to Coach D, who I cannot stand. If you see this, know that I cannot stand you. Random. We never say bye on the phone. We always just like hang up on each other. It is the weirdest thing. I love that guy. My high school coach, I was a part of a program called Diamonds, which was like all girls, college tours, community service type of atmosphere. And then I had a social worker from high school, middle school, who I stayed in contact with.
Nice.
And then my middle school assistant principal, who like has been to every event, like my high school graduation, my wedding. My coach married Ade and I.
Really? That's so cool.
So I think my family was like the nucleus of my village when I was younger. And then as I got older, like middle school and high school, like school resources actually played a pretty big role in like how I showed up as a person too.
Yes, I definitely have people from middle school and high school also that I keep in contact with. And speaking of family was definitely a solid village. So we hosted almost all the holidays at our house because both sides of our family were in Greenville. And then once my parents divorced, we did a lot at like each of my grandparents' house. But my dad is one of 9. My mother is one of 4. So we also have a very, very large family.
You know, I think about like our older generations of parents and aunts and uncles and like them having 5, 7, 8, 9, 10 kids. I'm like, how? Even now with my 2, I'm like, Mama, how did you raise 5 kids? And how are you still sane? I ask her that often. I'm like, how are you sane?
Right.
She was like, girl, I'm magical. Yes, you are. Right. You are magical.
Give mommy her flowers. I asked my mom the same thing about raising 3 girls. Ma'am.
1 is rocking me, and she's only 1 year old. So
this 4-year-old. I'm like, oh my goodness.
But yeah,
yes,
this is great. I'm so grateful. I keep saying that because it's sitting on my heart just to share how grateful I am to build relationship with you. As we think about village, though, I think some people, it can be intimidating. Because like you're going to be vulnerable.
Right.
But I think about like the length of time that we've known each other and how quickly and genuinely our relationship has evolved.
Right.
So it's been has it been a full 2 years? I don't even think so.
I don't think so. I think it'll be a full 2 years. I met you in August of 2023.
Yeah.
So not even a full 2
Not
years.
even full 2 years. And I think when we think about relationships evolving, I've been friends with this person since I was in middle school, or
Right.
we grew up together, we went to daycare together. No, that's not our story.
Right.
We met as two fully developed people. Mm-hmm. Well, still developing, but
Right.
two married women, two people who are already moms.
Yes.
And we don't always talk about how those adult relationships can be extremely impactful
Right.
and necessary.
Absolutely. There's a meme that goes around Instagram often, and I think it's labeled like lavender and or purple.
Okay.
Somewhere in that color family. And it talks about how like your purple or lavender person is someone that comes into your life and you just like click with, and like you have all this chemistry with, and you've built this relationship.
Because the way I'm staring into your eyes right now, girl,
you are
gazing,
my purple.
Gazing.
I almost started singing Purple Rain.
And you can't. Purple rain.
You are my purple or lavender. I'll get the color right.
Purple's one of my favorites.
Love it. See?
So there we go.
Yes.
So with that being said, we have a lot to cover, a lot more laughs to have.
Yes. Some tears, I'm sure, will come.
I was going to say, that happens as parents. If you don't cry, I don't know what you're doing every once in a while. If you don't have a good shower cry,
listen.
That's my favorite place to have a little moment in the shower.
Because when they walk in, because they do, you can pretend the water is running on your face.
We're trying to, so many things.
Yes.
But yes, we have a lot to cover, a lot to learn, a lot to grow, and like so much to accomplish. And so this is number one. This is our first, and I'm excited to push it forward. So we're going to do a toast, right?
Yes, we are. We're going to do a toast.
Now, producer Paul said, I'm going to crack this bottle. Paul, let me get you a glass. We are sure.
Oh, yes, Paul, you need a glass.
Well, you guys are the stars. I'll just drink out of this.
Okay. We will get you a glass. You need like an official glass.
It may not have like a bow on it. That may not be your thing. Shout out to Donalyn for getting these.
I'll drink out of whatever.
Aren't they so cute?
All right.
Oh.
You ready?
No. Thank you.
Paul is doing the honors.
The producer who pours. Oh, listen.
Tilt the glass. Tilt the glass.
Oh, tilt it.
No. Yeah, there you go.
Oh, I forgot the rules.
The rules of bubbly.
Donalyn, you said you had a toast.
Yes.
I'm excited to hear. I haven't heard this yet.
No, you have not. Okay. And neither has Paul. So I don't know if you noticed. Well, obviously you've noticed that the glasses have bows. Mm-hmm. My sweater has bows. I want this podcast to be a gift. Not only to us, but to our listeners, whether people listen to one episode, a half of episode, or every episode. I want them to walk away from whatever they've heard and feel like they've been gifted something. At the end of our episodes, I want us to walk away and feel like we've been gifted something.
Yeah.
And I want, when we think about giving gifts, we give from our heart. And so that's what I want this to give as we grow and as we build.
Beautiful.
So, cheers to After the 4th, making villages popular.
And having a dope-ass village.
Yes, having a dope-ass village.
Cheers, y'all.
Cheers.
Yes. That was a beautiful toast, Donalyn.
Thank you. It was sitting on my heart last night, and I was like, Lonray, how does this sound? And he was like, wow, babe. I was like, I know. I was like,
nobody was giving a toast the other night. Where were you then?
Right, come on.
I know.
Put me on the spot.
He did, but today I'm feeling moved. Yesterday I was feeling moved. I'm so excited for this journey.
That was beautiful.
Thank you.
That was really good. Well, I feel gifted.
Yay!
I do feel like I received, like somebody gave me something today. And I hope it's going to carry me until we meet again. So that's what I hope the podcast does too. Like,
yes,
our listeners are waiting for the next episode. They're like, all right, I got my gift. Now don't be hungry now. Can't get a gift. No, I'm just kidding. You get a gift every time, a little small token from us every single time.
Right.
That's how I feel like. That's how I feel every time we're together, though.
Mm-hmm.
Like I can laugh. I can be completely honest.
Yes. I mean, we talk about this often that we always learn from each other.
Every time.
Every time.
Every time. So we got a lot of learning to do. I don't think I told you this. You know my business, my KL Johnson
Yes.
speaking. We talked about that last time. It is my priority to do at least one engagement this year.
Yeah.
And I got my website. I'm getting my website back up. Like I have like one step to do. So
Okay.
it's
So
almost done. Come on, tell me.
we're moving. So I signed up to take a children's book course, and I take it on Tuesday evening. So I'm really excited. My goal is to have a book published this year by the end of the year.
That's also what Village is about though. Like it's like we're not in competition.
Right.
We are here to like hold each other accountable.
Yes.
Celebrate, push each other.
Yes.
And that you couldn't ask for a better like relationship.
Right.
Like I want to see you win.
Yes.
I want to be at your. I want a signed copy. I want to read your book to BC and Bio.
Yep.
Like Miss Donalyn wrote this book.
Right.
And then we're also showing our kids what's possible when we
Right.
pursue our dreams, when they're around adults who are challenging and encouraging and loving and pushing each other. They see that. They
Right.
are learning and growing from us. And
That's
so
right.
when they see two beautiful people, how's your book coming along? How's your website coming along?
Right.
You have any speaking engagements lined up? Like
Because I already told you, I need you to do a TED Talk.
you did. You said I didn't
did.
respond. Ooh,
No, you did not respond. You didn't have to.
the power.
It was on my heart. I was
She
like,
told me, she texted me, I need to do a TED Talk on the power of yet.
mm-hmm.
And just like the belief that what is now, it is not the state that it will always be in.
Right. Do you know how many people can benefit from that? It needs to be.
That's an episode.
It's an
The
episode.
power of
yes.
yet. Also, I was going to say this earlier, like get to versus have to.
Yes.
Like
so the power
language
of words.
The language is so important. Like
Yes.
I had to teach myself to not say, I have to go do laundry. I have to cook for my kids. I have to, baby. There are folks who are praying to have kids to cook for, are
Right.
praying for homes to clean, are praying for a husband to get on it. Like,
Right.
all the things.
I wasn't sure where that was going.
But they're praying
Right.
for these things.
I'm praying for a husband to get on, and then we're just swerve.
I love my Allison. Cheers to my baby. But it's words matter, and especially with
do.
when you have kids, they pick up on energy. They pick up
do.
on how often you smile. I have to fix my face 'cause I'm like, y'all, I was in a bathroom with BC and Bio today. We're still working on potty training, the pulling up and the pulling down to get on the pot.
Okay.
But BC has decided that when we go to the pot, she's coming.
Yes.
And I put a
BC.
pot in the hallway for her, but we have like a sliding shower door, and our bathroom is real small.
Okay.
I didn't start putting this little girl in the shower, just closing the little glass door, put a little toy in there because she's everywhere. She's trying to dig in the toilet. She didn't unhanded a whole roll of toilet paper. I was struggling this
Yes. But you know what? For her, every day is a new day. It's a new experience. I mean, not even just for her, but for us. But we're more like a routine. For her,
Yeah.
it's like,
Oh my God.
another
The
day of
potty?
like, the
Yes.
world is mine. And what does this thing do? How does it work? And
So I was
She's
looking
curious,
like this,
yes.
like, girl, if you don't, I was like, pause. Excuse me, pause. All right, let's play in the shower. Let's make it fun.
Oh,
the
man.
things we get to do when we have kids.
yes.
Get to do versus
Get
have
to.
to.
That's
So,
right. Well,
That's an episode too. So once again,
I'm excited.
cheers
Cheers.
to all things.
Yes.
Cheers, Paul. Don't break these glasses with that big old mug.
Right. Yes.
All right.
It's going to be a great journey.
That's all right.
I'm so glad I get to take this journey with the two of you.
One done, 1,000 to go.